Hi guys, it's Yay for Yarn, and today I'm going to show you how to make a flat circle on your Addi Professional 22 needle knitting machine. And this is a circular knitting machine, so it makes tubes. And a flat circle is a tube that has had both ends cinched shut and flattened together and tacked so that it stays flat. And this is one of my already finished ones, and today I'm going to show you how to make them. I have some yarn here. This is worsted weight yarn, and this is actually left over from my January Afghan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by casting on. And if you know how to do this, then you could probably skip this section. If you don't, then pay attention, because this is very important that you don't do this too tight. Casting on an Addi machine, you start out with the first black needle. It is even numbered, and you put the yarn with the tail end to the right. You hook it, you put it under the hook of that first black needle and drop the tail. Rotate the handle till the next one comes up. Go behind the second needle, in front of the third one, behind the fourth one, in front of the fifth one, behind the sixth one, and so on and so on and so on until you get all the way around again to the other side where you started. And you want to make sure you do this loosely, because if it's too tight, then it will split on the second round. This actually does not count as a round. So what I'm going to do now is open up this little yarn feeder and slide my yarn in, pop it through that little hole at the other end of the yarn feeder, and close the door. Now, I want to make sure I do a first couple stitches, make sure that it is already updated with the next number of the round I just did, and then I'm going to hit clear on the row counter so that it goes back to 0, because we're not counting this cast on as a row. And then I'm going to keep cranking until I get around to the black needle again, and that counts as one round. Now I'm going to need to work 17 rounds, so I need to keep cranking until it says 17 on my row counter. And you're going to want to put some tension on the yarn, especially if you're using a stiffer yarn like Super Saver, Red Heart Super Saver. Now if you're using something like Caron Simply Soft that's very limp and soft and flexible, then you're going to want to use something, you know, that is like that for all your circles if you're putting them together. But all of my circles are either Red Heart Super Saver or Hobby Lobby, and they all seem to work together pretty well. But with the Super Saver, those need a little bit more tension than the Hobby Lobby. But if you were using something like Caron Simply Soft for the whole thing, then you would definitely want to put a much less tension on your yarn while you're working. That's my 16th round. Click, you hear the click? That's 17 when it clicks to the next number. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a tail about 8 inches long, and then I'm going to pull it out of the yarn feeder so that it still stays hooked in that last white needle, and bring it so that the white needle drops down under the bed of the machine. I'm going to take my little yarn needle here, thread the tail, and I'm going to pick up every one of these stitches all the way around. So I'm going to drop the first black needle, pick up that loop of yarn, the second one, pick up that loop of yarn, and the third one. And at this point you have enough here that you can just do all the rest of them without threading through each one. Alright, now that I have the last one on my needle, I'm going to pull the needle through and tighten it. Now, I like to use this tail that you finish with, it's shorter, for tacking. So, I'm going to take this tail that we started with, that was our cast on tail, and pull it until all the stitches on that bottom cast on close up, just like that. Now I'm going to take this longer tail that was our cast on, thread it through, and I'm going to make a small knot here to tie off my yarn. I'm going to pick up a little bit of yarn right there, wrap my yarn around the tip of the needle, and pull it through. And that's going to keep my cinched closed end from coming undone and uncinched. And then I'm going to insert my needle through the little hole that is left when you cinch something closed and pop it back out somewhere else in the little circle. And by the way, when I do that, it's not attached to anywhere else, so it's only where it comes straight from the hole to somewhere else in the side. And then I'm going to cut that off, take my needle and thread it back through the finishing tail, which is shorter. And instead of knotting this one, I'm going to bring this first cinched end and the second cinched end together so that they line up on top of each other. Pull this as tight as possible, and then stick my needle through both holes at once so that they're layered on top of each other. And I'm going to tighten that. And then I'm going to come up right next to the holes, not through them again, but next to, and then go back down through both of them. And this helps to secure and keep it from becoming a poof again instead of a flat piece. And once you've tacked it several times and you feel that it's pretty secure, I like to do 4. Then you're going to want to bring it through again and knot it on the other side so that it is secure enough that it won't pop out or come undone. So I'm going to flip it back over and catch a few strands of yarn. I like to do 2 instead of 1. Wrap it around the tip of my needle and tighten that knot. And then what I like to do, this is why I love flat circles, is because it's 2 layers thick, you don't have to weave in your ends. You just slip them between the 2 layers and they stay. So I'm going to stick my needle tip into the little hole in the middle and pop it out over here on the edge and make sure that it's not visible on the other side. It's not showing through or coming through anywhere. So this is kind of in between the 2 layers of that. And then I can pull my tail through, cut it off, and block it, and then I will have a flat circle. And the finish size I'm going for these is 3.5 inches because all the rest of them are turning out 3.5 inches the way that I hold the yarn in my fingers to tension it. Yours don't have to be 3.5 inches if you don't want them to. You could, if you're using something that does not require any tension, you could even make them up to 4 inches. But I like to make mine 3.5. So now that you know how to make a flat circle on your Addi, go try it out and see how it works for you. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!